Sergio Perez. If there's one word most of us would use to describe him, it would be underrated. I'll add another two to that: underappreciated. He's a driver that over the last few years has consistently gone under most people's radar in the F1 community, and he's put in some stellar drives by achieving points on a regular basis, whilst also scoring the odd podium. But since his early breakthrough years into F1, he's never really had the same hype around him, even though his performances in recent years have arguably been as good, if not better. With all the news about him being dropped for the soon-to-be Aston Martin team for 2021 as a certain four-time world champion is available, I thought it would give me a great opportunity to go through his career so far and explain why he still deserves his place in the team. Perez's junior career wasn't outstanding, but there were a few standout results, notably finishing 4th in the 2008 British F3 Championship class and 2nd in GP2 in 2010. He was beat by Pastor Maldonado that year. His results in GP2 got him the interest of Sauber, who not only needed new drivers for 2011, they also needed a lot of money, something that Perez was able to bring due to his relationship with the Mexican telecommunications company Telmex, owned by Carlos Slim, one of the richest men in the world. He also joined the Ferrari Driver Academy at the end of 2010, which highlighted how much potential he showed throughout his junior career. His first season at Sauber wasn't spectacular, but there were a few glimpses of the Perez we see today, like in his first race in Australia where he preserved his tyres brilliantly and was the only driver in the field to only stop once on his way to a 7th place finish. Unfortunately, the result didn't stand as both Saubers were disqualified for having an illegal rear wing, but that one race showed everyone what he could do with the unpredictable Pirelli tyres. 2012 was the year where the field was closer together, which made teams like Sauber more competitive, and it gave the opportunity for Perez to put in some outstanding performances. In only the second race of the season in Malaysia, he chased down Fernando Alonso in wet dry conditions for the win, but he unfortunately made a mistake on lap 50 after being less than a second behind. Nevertheless, finishing second was an incredible achievement, and it was Sauber's best result as an independent team. Perez scored a further 2 podiums in Canada and Italy, both of which occurred after qualifying outside the top 10 and overtaking many faster cars due to outstanding tyre management throughout the race, which led to him finishing 10th in the Drivers' Championship. These performances caught the attention of McLaren, as they needed a replacement for Lewis Hamilton, who was set to join Mercedes in 2013, and as soon as that deal was announced, Perez was confirmed as his successor. As he was part of Ferrari's Driver Academy, they had the final say on his whereabouts, and their president at the time, Luca di Montezemolo, said several times that he wasn't experienced enough for a team like Ferrari, so they allowed McLaren to take him on. There was a lot of anticipation at McLaren going into 2013 after ending the previous season on a positive note, and with Perez joining the team, optimism was high. However, as soon as testing started, they realised their season would be challenging as their car was difficult to understand and had setup issues. Perez had a season to forget, and it didn't help that the McLaren was nowhere near the level of their 2012 car. After having a difficult start in Australia, where he only qualified 15th and finished 11th, things didn't get much better throughout the year. His season is mostly remembered for his over-aggressive driving that led to a number of incidents, the most famous of which were with his teammate Jenson Button in Bahrain after touching wheels, and in Monaco with Kimi Raikkonen, who said he should be punched in the face after an overly optimistic overtake attempt. Perez didn't live up to McLaren's high expectations, and after a best result of 5th in India, he was dropped for 2014 with Kevin Magnussen taking his place. Force India needed a replacement for Paul di Resta, and Perez was a perfect fit for the team as he'd excelled in the midfield with Sauber and scored regular points. Another bonus was that he would bring about €15 million in commercial backing, and he was confirmed to partner the highly rated Nico Hülkenberg. He was able to put that disastrous year at McLaren immediately behind him in 2014, and proved once again that he was able to consistently score points in the midfield, whilst he also scored Force India's first podium since 2009 in Bahrain after putting in a fantastic drive, narrowly keeping the faster Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo behind him. Another podium nearly came in Canada, but his car unfortunately suffered braking issues, and he then collided with Felipe Massa on the final lap of the race. 2015 was even better for the Mexican, as he finished the season in 9th place, his highest ever position. This was mostly due to the second half of the season being unbelievable, as he scored 63 of his 78 points in the final 9 races, achieving a podium in Russia and 3 further top 5 finishes in Belgium, USA and Abu Dhabi. This theme continued into 2016 as he scored more podiums in Monaco and Baku to be best of the rest outside the top teams, and he scored over 100 points. But it wasn't just his tyre management that was helping him achieve these results. He had genuine pace, and he was battling with cars much faster than the Force India. It was around this point people started to take notice that he was a much more rounded driver than initially thought, especially as he comprehensively beat the highly rated Hülkenberg both in points and podiums in the time they were teammates. Nico left to join Renault in 2017, and Force India decided to hire Esteban Ocon as Perez's teammate. But though Sergio once again proved he was a brilliant driver, there were signs that his erratic nature was creeping back into his racing. He wouldn't let Ocon through in Canada, whilst in Baku their relationship was at breaking point as they hit each other and threw away a potential double podium finish. The same happened again in Belgium as they clashed twice, which led to the team principal Otmar Safnauer implementing team orders. It was a similar story in 2018 but to a slightly lesser extent. Throughout the season he drove fantastically on his way to 8th in the Drivers' Championship, and he was the only non-Mercedes, Ferrari or Red Bull driver to score a podium after finishing 3rd in Baku. He was also a key contributor in saving the team and its employees by putting them in administration, otherwise they probably would have collapsed. However, he had an especially poor race in Singapore where he once again collided with Ocon, causing his retirement from the race, whilst he also aggressively swerved at Sergei Sirotkin and received a drive-through penalty. Perez and Ocon were once again warned that they wouldn't be able to battle again, which wouldn't be for long as Ocon was replaced by Lance Stroll for the 2019 season due to his dad Lawrence Stroll now leading the consortium that purchased the team. Due to the financial struggles of the previous year, the 2019 Racing Point was not fully developed. Perez had a difficult start to the season as he went 8 races without scoring a point, the longest streak in his career. But once the updates arrived, from Belgium onwards he scored in every race apart from Singapore due to an oil leak when running 10th. He ended the season with more than double the points of Stroll, once again confirming his status as a top driver who also had the ability to lead a team. Looking at this year, due to Racing Point effectively copying the 2019 Mercedes, this has given Perez the 3rd best car on the grid capable of achieving podiums and even a win if the stars align for him. But when looking at the season so far, I'd say that 2 6th places and a 7th doesn't really look like success, although he was having an incredible race in Styria until he broke his front wing after contact with Alex Albon. If Vettel does sign for the Aston Martin rebrand in 2021, the team have an incredibly difficult decision to make. Whilst we all know what Perez can do, Stroll has seemed to have upped his game now he's been given a car that he feels comfortable in, and his performance in Hungary couldn't have come at a better time as he comprehensively beat his teammate. I really want Perez to stay for 2021, not only because of how good he is as a driver, but due to him being instrumental in keeping the team operating over the last few years. He deserves to be rewarded with at least 1 season in the works Aston, and him and Vettel will be one of the strongest lineups on the grid. He also has a contract for next year, while Stroll doesn't. The team remain tight-lipped on the situation, but Perez over the last week has hinted at his possible departure with teams like Haas and Alfa Romeo interested in him, and as Lawrence Stroll basically owns Racing Point, it's obvious that he'd like to keep his son in his current seat. I think they should assess the drivers at the end of the season to see who performs the best, but if they really want to assert themselves as a credible racing outfit, Lawrence needs to put his personal feelings aside and choose the person that will benefit the team the most, as harsh as that might sound. My ideal scenario would be Vettel and Perez at Aston, while Stroll moves to Haas as they need more money to secure their future and help them move further up the grid. I'd like to hear what you guys think about the whole Aston Martin situation. Put yourself in Lawrence Stroll's presumably very expensive shoes. Who should get to be Vettel's teammate if he joins? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you do the usual stuff, like, subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when my videos drop. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, links in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.